Okay, so if you haven't heard our podcast before, our last episode was with Larry Lee. He was a lung cancer survivor and a meditation expert, and we had him on for a couple of hours on the second episode, so you might want to check that out. And the first episode was me going to an isolation tank and showing the benefits of that. So, yeah, those were the first two episodes. And what today is about is breaking the myths in fitness. So, basically what we did is we took the questions from our clients and our teammates who are trying to get fit and do their own workouts, and we want to break down through the bullshit today because, as we know, there's a lot of bullshit in the health and fitness industry. So, we got Kevin, Jonathan Chang, once again, personal trainer extraordinaire, and we have Beki, last name, how do I pronounce your last name?
Liang.
Beki Liang as well here, also in the fitness and health industry. And in the show notes later, we will put both of their feeds, so hopefully they'll be willing to answer a couple of questions from you guys as well, if that's okay with you guys.
Perfect, that's fine.
Good,
that's
dude.
good.
You ready to roll, Kevin?
Yeah,
You
totally
look a little intense over there.
He's just lifting some weights.
Oh, is
Put
he?
those weights down, Kevin.
Exactly. Okay, so today what I wanted to do, guys, is I wanted to bring you two here because there's a lot of conventional wisdom and a lot of bullshit going on with the fitness industry, and everyone wants to be in better health, in better shape, but there's a lot of questions that I wanted to break down. And we're trying not to go all geek and fitness on you guys, so we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible. We have a bunch of questions from everything up to how do I lose weight, how do I get started, how do I gain muscle, what exercises I should be doing, and we're just going to throw it out there, and we're going to give you our take on it. So you got three people who are highly into fitness, and we've tried everything. But again, we want to make clear that we're not saying this is the only way. There's more than one way to do things. There's no right or wrong. And we just want to show you and let you know what works and what would be more effective than what you're currently doing. So let's start off from the beginning. Kevin, I was hoping you could take off the beginning. And the first question I want to start off with is, for someone who's new to fitness, completely sedentary, where should they start working out if they're completely new to fitness? What should their first action be for them from sitting on the couch eating donuts every day to saying, you know what, I need to take fucking control of my life because this isn't where I want to be? Where does that person start?
So they already kind of done the evaluation of their life, and they were like, fitness is something I need to bring in?
Definitely, yeah, because I think that a lot of people are at that point where they want to do something, they just don't know what to do. Like, it's almost, the problem with the fitness industry is not that there's not enough information, but there's too much information. And that's what I personally believe. Like, if I go to chapters, the biggest section is health and fitness. How to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, how to do this diet, how to do that diet, no carbs, paleo this, women should be doing this. So what can the person who's just starting do to take that first dip into fitness, the first step into fitness?
Well, I would say, like you're saying, when you go to chapters, there's so many options out there. And I think you addressed this before, where there's really no wrong option. So it's more, you got to go in and do the research and figure out which ones kind of apply to you. And then see the one that does apply, and then kind of just take that and then go with it, if that makes sense.
Okay. So doing a little bit of research, is that where you started there?
Yeah, do some research, because like you said, there's the paleo diet, there's the California diet,
Okay.
There's the Atkins diet. I don't even know if that's around anymore, but figure out which one of those ones applies the most to like how your diet's like.
Besides diet, though, just fitness and health I didn't really mean to go off on a diet tangent. What I want to know is like completely sedentary, overweight, sits at the desk for 8 hours a day. They're just sick of the way that they're living. They're sick and tired of being in their own body. What should they do, Beki? What's the first step, do you think? I see where you're going for sure.
For me, the first thing that I would do is to find a professional, to actually speak to someone who actually understands the industry. So I have a lot of friends, clients as well that are brand new to fitness. Like, they've never touched a weight, they've never even walked faster than a walk, and they come to me and they say, I want to get into fitness. What should I do? That's the first thing. Find someone that actually is in the industry, that is knowledgeable, and ask them. Ask as many questions as you can. Figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like, and with that person that understands the industry, they will actually guide you to what suits you best. Everyone is different. Nothing is cookie cutter. I find too many people that ask friends that work out, and then they just copy their friends,
Sure.
and then they hurt themselves. They do everything wrong. The friends don't know what to watch out for. So speak to a professional, first of all. And then after that, then you can start to figure out, okay, what is good from what they tell me.
Awesome. I definitely would second that. We'll get to finding a professional if that's what someone chooses to do. Just to take a step outside of that, the first thing that I would do personally is get my body moving. To make it really simple, if that means getting up and going for a walk around the block as step one, great. What you shouldn't do is dive in the deep end with a P90X or go hit CrossFit. Like, there's definite benefits from doing programs like that, but I want everyone to crawl before they walk, before they run, before they fly. Fitness is a journey, it's not a destination, and you're not going to be perfect. Just focus on progression, not perfection. Get better every day, and start paying attention to making smarter decisions in your life away from working out. You know, like, put down the fucking chocolate bar and, you know, go get some fruits and vegetables. Like, that's a good step too, you know? So, great answers from everyone. Do something. I think that's the main thing, is do something. You're not going to lose 1 pound by thinking about it. You're not gonna, you know, I'll start fresh on Monday, like, oh, I'll start fresh next week. That attitude is never going to get you to anywhere that you want to go. So the first step, honestly, is do something, I think. It doesn't have to be the right step right away. Finding a professional is a great first step as well. And doing research, like Kevin says, absolutely. Those are 2 amazing steps as well. Anything else, guys? I think that's good answers.
Yeah. I really like yours, just to move. Get your ass off the couch and just do something.
Exactly.
That's actually the best
Definitely.
for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Becky, I'm coming to you. How do I lose weight?
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you lose weight? Wow, you can take off all your clothes and step on a scale. You've lost a couple pounds already.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not about weight, buddy. It's about body fat.
Thank you. And you just totally stole my point, which is great, because most people focus on how much weight they should be losing. Focus on losing fat. I like that way better. You can still keep it tangible by checking how much fat you're losing, but weight comes from different places. Weight comes from different places, and it works different for everyone. So what I like to tell people personally is, all right, we're going to hop on the scale maybe once, but we're not going to hop on the scale for another 3 or 4 weeks. Like, I don't want people hopping on the scale every fucking session. Like, I want you to focus on the root. The fruit will come on its own. If you come to the gym and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you're eating the way you're supposed to eat, everything else will take care of itself. The last thing that I want is for you to be focused on the prize. I want you to come into the gym and focus on being perfect on every repetition and being better every time you come here, instead of focusing on how do I lose weight. So, Kevin, you got something to say on that?
Well, I was going to say the best marker that I usually use with people is to look at yourself in the mirror versus standing on a scale. Because one misconception that people forget is muscle weighs a lot more than fat. So when you're working out now, you're running around, you're lifting weights, you're gaining a lot of muscle. And if your goal is to lose weight, you might, and if you're stepping on the scale every day, you might not see yourself drop because you're gaining a lot more muscle.
Sure.
So it kind of has that kind of, what's that point where it kind of levels off? Like one goes down, but one goes up higher, so then it kind of levels off.
I got
you think you're not losing anything when really you are.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I usually tell them, like, look at yourself in the mirror and you can see all those different changes happening. And if those changes are going in the direction that you would like to go, then you're in the right step. Keep
Awesome.
going.
The reason why I'm very ecstatic about losing the weight thing is because I go to yoga class and I talk to all these women that are going to hot yoga, and they're like, oh yeah, lose 5 or 6 pounds. It's like, you're in hot yoga.
Sweated
like,
all that.
Yeah,
It's probably water weight.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't be focused on losing weight. Focus on the fat. Personally, is what I'd recommend. Go ahead, Becky.
I'm just going to bring up a point. This is from a prior client of mine. She's an older lady, so this might resonate for some of you guys out there. But she's probably in her 50s, I would say. She's much older, and she used to stress out about weight. She used to weigh herself every day, sometimes 2 times a day. And because of that stress, she gained a lot of weight.
Sure.
A lot of weight. So she would go to her doctor and say, I'm gaining more weight. And he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I weigh myself every day and it's stressing me out. And he's just like, well, like, stop eating so much. Like, he would tell her all these things. So when she came to me and told me that, I told her to stop weighing herself for 1 whole month. And she couldn't handle it. She goes, I don't know if I can do that. So I'm like, just don't do it for 1 month. Promise me that you won't. You trust me, right? And she said yes. So she promised me that she wouldn't weigh herself for 1 month. But during that month, I didn't see her at the gym too much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But after that month, she came in to see me, not on a day that she was working out. She came specifically to see me, and she told me she lost about, I don't know, probably 10 pounds in that last month and a bit, just because she wasn't weighing herself every day. She wasn't stressed out about it.
Exactly.
Stress definitely
Yes.
has a lot of negative.
There's a huge
Effects.
correlation to gaining weight and stress.
Totally.
There's a huge
Yeah.
correlation, and no one can argue that.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Becky. That's a great point. So
So ladies, stop weighing yourself every day.
exactly,
Oh, damn.
please
Stop
throw
stressing
it.
out on little things.
Exactly, exactly. Focus on what you're doing in the gym and get rid of the scale.
Yeah, just do it because you know it's also good for you
exactly.
in the long run.
Exactly. Okay, so how do I gain weight? This is more for a dude kind of question. You know, you see the guys coming to the gym trying to gain weight. Kevin, some guy wants to gain some weight. My first question to that is why. That would be my first question. Why do you want to gain weight? Because personally, I've been heavier than I am now, and I felt extremely sluggish, and I didn't feel like my body moved very well. But there's some kind of nostalgia when it comes to a man and, you know, gaining weight, unfortunately. So
It's Hollywood, man.
I guess maybe it is Hollywood, right? But for someone that
It's
has
guns
a
and
goal,
muscles for men.
but you know, there are some situations when someone's extremely skinny, you know, doesn't have an ectomorph or doesn't have a bodybuilder's body at all, and wants to put on a little bit of muscle and feel stronger. And I think that's valid. So
That's totally fun.
What would you say for someone like that who wants to gain weight?
First thing I would usually do is kind of analyze what they're eating, because a lot of times I find people like that, their diet consists of a lot of. Sorry, what was that?
McDonald's.
I was just gonna say, like, basically like processed foods and foods that really have no nutrients.
Sure.
Like they'll be eating a lot of, because they're very like stop and go kind of people. Like they'll go from one place to the other really quickly, and they never kind of stop. So they're always kind of looking for food really quickly. So it's like McDonald's, where like I don't even know what's in those buns. I don't even think that has any real nutritional value at all.
Yeah.
And then when they get home, they'll be like, well, I don't want to cook anything, so they'll just kind of throw something that they found in the freezer into a frying pan or something.
Sure.
And based on those alone, like there's not a lot of nutritional value, so there's not a lot of growth that can come from the food you're eating in terms of like your body, because your body needs nutrients that it's getting from food. And if you're just going to put filler in there, unfortunately your body's not really going to grow in any way from that. Second thing, like you said, like why they're wanting to do it, because that's a pretty big important thing. And then secondly, if they want abs right off the bat or not. Because if they don't want abs right away and they just kind of want to get the size and get a little bit heavier based on the scale or just muscles on the arms and the body, I usually just kind of fix up what they're eating and just tell them just go nuts on what you're eating for the first little bit. Don't worry about like looking cut and all that. Like you'll gain muscle, you'll look cut, you'll have a huge difference in your body. But then after you get to the size you want, then we can start cutting down and getting you a lot more toner and getting the abs and all the other things. So kind of breaking it down in steps.
Sure. Just to add to that, I think if you could add more, how do I go here without going all fitness geek? If you add more compound lists into your workouts, bring down your rep count a little bit, maybe to like 5 to 7 reps. Add some squats and deadlifts, and make sure you're doing them properly, please, before you go and hurt yourself, before you do those movements. And then if you're doing any kind of long, slow, and steady cardio, maybe get rid of that and move into a high interval cardio of maybe doing some sprints instead. That might help as well. But as far as gaining weight, I really have a little tendency to not focus on that too much, because I want purpose behind training. Why do you want to gain weight? Why do you want to lose this much pounds? Why do you want to have this? Like, it's more beneficial if you're big. Like, I know the big buzzword in our industry is functional, but the truth is that I can't think of another word that represents what I'd want to do with my body than have it functional. Like, I want to be training for a purpose. Like, you can call it functional training, I call it purposeful training, but it's the same thing, you know. Like,
Right.
so if you want to gain weight for aesthetic purposes, like I'm not hating on you, you know, like I like to feel good in my body as well, but
Yeah, I just find if you're doing for aesthetics, like eventually you'll run out of motivation.
easily we're moving on to that. So yeah, save that, Kevin. Save that, Kevin. Yeah, good. Okay, so
Girls like to gain weight too, you know.
yeah, they do. Probably not as much as dudes though. Like,
You'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
like I find that a lot of people have a misconception with women that they all just want to lose weight.
Mhm.
But because of that, a lot of women who want to gain weight will never tell people. They're afraid to
Huh.
bring it up because it's like, oh, why would you want to gain weight? I'm here trying to lose 10 pounds and you want to gain weight? I
How
hate
dare
you.
you,
bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like girls get very bitchy and catty about stupid shit like that. I don't
You're
even
preaching
know.
to the choir. Trust
It's
me.
stupid, but like I have a couple clients that have told me they wanted to gain weight, and I've helped them out with that. But I actually have some male clients that want to get bigger.
Really?
Yeah, and I've
Okay.
actually been able to do it, which is surprising.
That's not
But it's
surprising.
exactly what you just said, DJ. Like
So with females,
the
though, like when they say they
high
want to
reps.
gain weight, it's like more just muscle. Like they want to get more
Yeah.
muscle on their frame.
Yeah, because a lot of women that are very skinny, they tend to have their bones jut out in certain areas, and that's not very feminine.
Sure.
Like it's like I don't find that attractive, and I'm sure they probably look at themselves and like I want to look like J Lo or all those nice curvy women,
Sure.
and so that's what they want. They don't want to necessarily, I guess, gain weight, but at least bulk up a little so they have more curves to it.
Okay.
And so they say gain weight.
Okay, that
Yes.
makes sense
Yeah.
though. They basically want to alter
Yeah.
their shape.
Yeah. So
Okay.
women do actually want to gain weight, but I think that they just don't know how to either ask for that or how to do it.
Or they might not fully understand it too. Because
Yeah.
a couple females that I've come across now, like they're usually underneath the 100-pound range, for one. But I usually ask them like, what's your? Because they'll say like, I want to gain weight, and I'm like, well, what does that really mean? So I usually ask them to bring me like a picture of someone that they kind of see as in like that's what I want to kind of look like. And they often bring in those new kind of promotions that are going on for females where it's like strong is the new skinny.
Yes. Yeah.
So like these women are like toned up, they're strong as hell, and they're like, I want to look like that. And I'm like, that's muscle, which is what you want to bring onto your frame. And like, okay, let's go and get on that, which is where you bring on like compound stuff and the different kind of circuit trainings and stuff and get rid of like those long, just steady 30-minute runs and everything.
Sure. Just to kind of go back, when we mean compound, basically what we mean by that is you're using more than one joint for a motion. So, like an example would be like a squat, then a dumbbell press, instead of just like an isolation exercise when you're just using one joint and usually have like a one leading muscle group. So, is there a
Try
better
like
way
a
I can?
kettlebell. Like
No, but is there a way I can explain it better without showing an image or a video of this?
The
Becky?
best way to say it is exactly when there's more than one joint that actually has to like flex. That's a compounding exercise. So
Yeah.
a squat is a great one, and then the other one would be a bicep curl. Would be a concentration exercise because you're only bending through your elbow.
Exactly.
So if that, I think. Sounds
Sure. If you Google compound exercises, you'll come up with a lot of resources, and that'd be a good start if you're focused on trying to gain a little bit of mass and a little bit of strength. Okay, awesome guys. Okay, this is such a complicated question and it has so many answers. I'm gonna ask you both. Kevin, you can go first. This is a really tough question to answer because it's very specific to everyone. I'm not getting results. Why is that?
I'm not getting results.
Yeah,
Why
so
is that?
someone maybe we should make this a little bit more specific because that's
Yeah, because I was
so
like, it's
broad.
a little vague.
Okay, so the person that's going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, they're doing spin
Okay.
class once or twice. They go to the gym, they do weights. They might do a kickboxing class here or there. They're very active, maybe training 5 days, 6 days a week, but they're not seeing any significant results physically in their body. Again, there's so many fucking answers for
There's
this.
so many,
but-
yeah. I was just gonna say,
But
it could
maybe
be
we
so
can
many
give a
things.
few
Like,
of the
it could
common
be-
ones. There's
It could be like they're overtraining, they're not eating enough,
Sure.
they're not hydrating enough, they're not sleeping enough, they're not getting enough water.
Yeah.
Jeez, is there any other one?
I know so many. I see so many people that are like that in the gym, though.
I know.
Like I would say at least 80% of the people that are in my gym are like that because I've seen people who have been going there consistently for years and they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
The other one that I thought of now is they just don't know how to do the actual movement.
Exactly. Yeah.
'Cause
That's a really big thing.
It's a lot of people think like, as long as I move, I'm working out. When really you actually have to work that specific muscle,
Yes.
or the stabilizer muscles, or the core. Like one of those.
You have to be
Or all of
challenging
those
yourself.
Okay, good point, Becky. You have to be challenging yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
so you guys did a good job with that one because there's so many answers.
Actually, that's
to that.
actually a great one. There,
But,
to challenge
Yeah.
yourself, because a lot of people go in there and they're like, "I think I'm doing exactly what it is," but it's not hard.
No.
They're doing what's
Okay.
comfortable for them. You
Yes.
have to be pushing yourself, and if it's
Sure.
not, if it's easy, you're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
If it's hard and you're hating it, you're on the right path.
A great thing that I do to check is after I've had a couple sessions with a client of mine,
Okay.
and then they go do their own training sessions, I will ask them, like, comparing what you do on your own to when you train with me, percentage-wise, like with me, I know you're doing 100% because I kill you by the end of it. What would you say your percentage is? And I am shocked to hear most of them say 50% or less.
Sure.
Can you fucking believe that? I'm just like, what?
But you know, that,
Well, they're usually
there's-
new to it, right? Like they don't.
No, but even people who train for years there, I look at them and I can tell they're not pushing themselves because they're using the same weight they used 2 years ago.
But the problem is, Becky, is that as a human species, personally, I believe that you can't push yourself as hard as someone else does, and that's why I have a personal trainer myself. It's because there's some psychological thing going on where you can't push yourself as far as someone else could. Why do you think the best boxers of the world have like crazy trainers? Why do you think the best athletes in the world have their own coaches, man? It's because they can't take themselves there. They have to get out of their own way, and that's the hardest part, to get out of your own way. But we have someone else counting your reps.
Yeah.
We have someone else telling you, now do this, now do this.
Do it right.
You
yeah.
stop thinking about it, and now you get to just focus on the doing of it, right?
Mhm.
So like I get what you're saying. At the same time, I have some sympathy and some compassion for people because I know myself personally that it's tough for me to train at 100% myself. Like I'll train like at 90 myself, but I know there's another 10% there that I could push. But it's hard for me to bring myself there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, it definitely does.
Totally does.
But
But 90% is way better than 50%.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
what I find most people
Yeah.
tread on.
Put it this way: if you're going to the gym and you have time to read a fucking magazine,
Oh,
if you're sitting there
Or if you're
playing on your
able to,
phone,
if you're able to.
if you're walking around looking for a machine that's available, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
We can agree on that, guys.
Yes.
The worst I
Okay.
hate is when you're like you see someone on a treadmill or something, and they're just like moseying through like a magazine or something. Like how's that magazine still even able to stand on that treadmill? Like, you should be able. That thing should have been flung off a long time ago.
I know,
Yeah.
my phone tends to like
Yeah.
fall off when I'm
Like I'm having a hard time
Exactly.
figuring out where to put my iPad and stuff half the time because it's bouncing out of the cup holder.
That's so funny.
Okay, let's bring this back around. So the question was, I'm not getting results and why. Just the last thing that I kind of want to say about that is perhaps you are not training strategically. So I see a lot of women not training strategically. They're focusing, their program is completely not designed for their specific goals that they want.
Mhm.
And that's when it comes down to getting the right information. And I think that's really important, is that if you're not getting the results, all that means is you don't know something. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. It doesn't mean, that you're not able to get those results. It means that you just don't know something. You're doing the wrong course of action. We need to change your course of action. And I think that having a specific program, I'll recommend a few later on. I have a couple written down here that's geared towards your specific goals. That's one of the main reasons is that women go to the gym and they find out they're not getting results. It's because, well, your exercises aren't collaborating with what you want to achieve. Like they're completely off. Like
Yeah.
why?
Or they do the same thing all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see that
Exactly.
a
Or
lot.
they don't actually isolate or not. Sorry, they isolate, but they don't fatigue the muscle. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
Like they'll do maybe one thing. Like for instance, like if they're like I want my butt bigger, they'll do one exercise for the butt, and then they'll move on to their arms and their shoulder, and they'll spend more time on their stomach or something.
Sure. Okay. Next question. What do you guys for working out? If someone's trying to set goals, what's a good strategy for setting goals? To aim high, to aim low. This is very personable to everyone. I have a different strategy that's kind of weird and different. So I wanted to take both of yours.
What do you mean by high and low? Do you mean like long and short?
No, just like if someone's coming to fitness, how would they be able to set goals? Like we've all heard of SMART goals.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard of for those who don't know what SMART, what does it stand for? Specific, measurable, attainable,
I always forget R.
reliable.
I always say reachable.
Relevant.
Relevant. That's
Yeah.
it. And time.
Time. So Yeah, but that's honestly
It's bad that I didn't know that.
really.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. One more time, Becky. SMART. What does it stand? What's the acronym? SMART.
Specific.
SMART goals.
Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time, meaning that it's done in a certain time.
Okay, so that's one way to set goals.
I find that's the best way.
You find that's
For
the best way.
new people.
Okay.
Brand new people, I always set them up like that because most of the time they set goals that are way too high because they don't understand how long it takes to reach certain things.
Sure.
Because I've had some people say, oh, in 1 month's time, because I asked them to schedule something for 4 weeks, I had someone say, I want to lose 20 pounds and be able to run 2 miles comfortably. So I asked them, have you ever worked out before? No. Have you ever ran before? Yeah, but like 10 years ago. I'm like, you think you could do that in 4 weeks? And they say, can I? And I'm like, well, are you willing to like give up your life to train for that? Because
Okay.
if you train every single day, you might be able to hit that in 1 month.
I don't even know that. Like your muscles
But
need
like
rest.
you like that's killing your body,
Sure.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So,
Kevin, anything on goals? Like.
What I was gonna say is usually like mine's basically like that, but usually what I would do because they always have one that they always shoot high. So usually I would be like, okay, that's your long-term goal, and then we'll start building the small steps in between to kind of get you there, so that you can kind of see that you're on the right track. So I usually call those the short-term ones.
Okay.
So like if I have a girl she's overweight and she wants to lose weight and she's like, I want to drop about 60 pounds, and I'm like, well, you know, let's not put an actual time frame on that. Like I'll give her like roughly this will probably take you about X amount of time or months. But I'll be like, let's do small goals in between. Is there like a pair of jeans or like a jacket or something that doesn't fit but it used to? So then if she says yes, then I'll be like, okay, well that's one of the small steps in between that. So that you know you're heading towards where you want to go. Is there another thing, like, for instance, like she might be like, I'm really loving chocolate right now. I'm like, okay, well then we need to get rid of that. And that'll be one of the small goals to kind of lead towards that path.
Okay, so you almost work backwards a little bit, like.
Yeah, basically I'll
I like
take their
that.
big goal, and then I'll start putting things in between so that they know that they're heading towards their big goal.
Okay, good answers, guys. A little bit maybe different. I don't recommend this to anyone unless they're interested in this way of doing things. If you're completely sedentary and haven't gone off your couch, I want you to set the bar so low and just step over it. So I want you to make success so easy for you, so you can start building momentum off of that. An example would be like, I'm extremely overweight. My diet's shit. This week I'm gonna eat clean. Once this week for dinner I'm gonna eat squeaky clean, and then I'm gonna go for a walk around the block twice this week. So I want you to make success so easy that you can step over the bar and go ta-da, like yay. I think like we talked about setting goals too high, like that works for a lot of people too. Another thing that I like to recommend is to keep your fucking goals to yourself. And I know that you want to get support, and that's great. Personally, what I find is when I tell someone my goals, I have like an intrinsic feeling of happiness, like I've already personally accomplished it, but I haven't done shit. I've only talked about it. So I think a little bit differently on this. Like I said, I don't recommend this to just everyone. Try it out, but personally, what I like to do is the relationship between me and myself is really important. So I don't want to ever let myself down. So if I write a goal like I'm gonna eat clean on Tuesday, to me that means something. Like, or I'm gonna go for a 10-minute jog on Saturday. Like, just make it super easy. And what I don't want to see is on Monday and Tuesday I'm going to this class, on Wednesday I'm doing yoga in my living room, on Thursday when you haven't done shit in 15 years, when you haven't done exercise since Adam Sandler's made a good movie, there's a fucking problem,
Yeah.
So like,
that's a lot of people do that though.
yeah, I know. Like, I appreciate the enthusiasm of someone wanting to change their life, but let's do it one step at a time, man. So
I'm very big on that too, DJ. I'm
yeah.
always like, crawl before you can walk, fool.
Exactly.
You're a baby right now.
Exactly. So, like I said, there's no right or wrong here. Choose what works. If you see that something's not working for you, maybe try keeping your goals to yourself and holding yourself committed to what you're going to say to yourself. Because that's the most important thing, man. You are the judge of you. I don't give a flying fuck what anyone else thinks about me personally. You are the judge of you. So make your goals, write them down, whether they're huge, whether you're taking huge leaps, or if you're just stepping over the bar. See what works for you and build momentum off of that. That's kind of the way I like to work. Kind of a tied into that question. Kevin, this one's for you first. How do I stay motivated when working out?
That's so funny, actually, because I was actually just thinking we should address that. Stay motivated. Well, it's really hard, especially if you're a beginner, because one, you're not even sure if you're doing the right thing. And so I guess for that, I would say just don't give up, because any real habit, especially if you're new to fitness, it's a new habit you're trying to bring in. And introducing a new habit to your lifestyle can take, 6 weeks to 8 weeks sometimes? Like, it could take a long time. And even seeing results, I guess, even like the smallest amount of results, especially if you're new to it, like it could take about the same amount of time even as well. So,
but what about for that person? Like, I don't know about you guys, man, but I've set goals and tried to stay motivated and to fall off the wagon plenty of times in my life. Like,
Everyone has.
well, I think the next step is to kind of just have a friend. Like, everyone has a friend that you kind of talk to and confide in, right? And
okay, so have like an accountability partner. That's a good
let
tip.
them know
Okay.
that this is what you kind of want in your life, and that you're trying to kind of reach towards it. Because then you'd have accountability there if you don't already have a professional looking after you. Becky, do you think of anything right now?
Oh, I can think of so many things.
Let me just change this a little bit. For the person that doesn't have a professional, for someone that doesn't have, because that's easy, because then you're getting motivation almost from the outside. But let's talk about for someone that's on their own for fitness. How do you stay motivated when you're fit?
There's so many things.
Please.
What I do with my clients is, well, if you don't have a personal trainer, that's sad, but that will be number one. But number two is, what I tell some clients is I tell them to keep like a journal, write down all of their successes, write down all the little goals that they have each day, and when they hit it, make sure that there's small goals that they can hit, like wake up by 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Don't hit snooze
Once
button.
you do it, look at your journal, take it off, celebrate it. One big thing that I do with my clients is I celebrate every little thing that they accomplish. Even if it's like, if they couldn't do a squat 2 seconds ago and they finally did a squat that was good enough for me, I jump up and down and I'm like, yay, you did a squat. And they look at me like I'm crazy. But the more I do it, the more excited they get, so that every single time they do something right, they look forward to that little celebration that we do, so that next time they notice that they do it themselves, they get happy themselves and they're pushed to do it more on their own. So that's what I find, because I find that motivation on your own is the hardest to bring upon a client. It's very hard. And I find that a lot of clients don't have friends that want to work out with them. Most people don't have friends that are like, I'll work out with you every single time. It's hard to find.
It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, it's very, very hard. So when you can keep yourself accountable by either keeping a journal or setting up small successes for yourself and celebrating them, even if it's to call friends, say, hey, guess what I did? And they go, okay, sure. You're like, well, I'm excited about it. Bye, click. But if I tell my clients to be open with me, so I tell them, like, you know what? Call me, text me, email me, whatever. Celebrate with me your small successes, because I will celebrate with you. And now they look forward to texting me every day. I get messages from my freaking clients every day, and they can't wait till tomorrow to train. So yeah, so they're actually really good in terms of the motivational thing on their own.
Awesome. So celebrate the victories.
Yes, even no matter how small, how big.
Do you mind if I ask what the celebrations are?
Just acknowledging it.
Okay.
Like, yay, you did it! Happy dance! You don't have to go and,
I do a lot of high fives.
Yeah, I do a lot. I embarrass
Down
myself
low,
in the
up high,
gym a
it's
lot.
Awesome. Okay, so
But I just wanted to address, like, when we say celebration, like, don't go out and be like,
Get
I did
hammered.
it today. Yeah, like, don't go out
Yeah,
and get hammered
none of
or
that.
like buy a cheeseburger or like
Only for
or
big
eat a
goals.
cake. Yeah, big ones go ahead,
Yeah.
but
Big
small
for
ones.
sure.
okay, so you guys like positive reinforcement.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Especially during the sessions. I do a lot of that during the sessions. A lot of confidence building and mind building.
Yeah.
So I actually do a lot of stuff when it comes, a lot of personal stuff outside of the fitness, if that makes any sense.
Of
I'm like a
course.
shrink. Well, you guys know that. You guys understand
Yeah.
that.
But like for people that don't have people that could definitely do that for you, like tell you the reinforcements, I would recommend like Twitter, or I guess social media. Like just put it out there to the world, and you'll be surprised how many people will actually respond to it.
Okay, cool, man. How to stay motivated? Well, again, I have a little bit of a weird take on motivation as well. So, I love your guys' opinion on it too. For me, personally, I don't give a flying fuck about motivation, because as far as I can tell, it comes and goes as it pleases. I have a lot of resistance in my personal life. So when I get up in the morning, I have a lot of resistance to go to the gym still. Everyone talks about, yeah, I'm so motivated. I'm like, for me, I don't get that. Like, sometimes I feel like going to the gym. Sometimes I feel like doing things. But for me, I'm combating a lot of resistance in my life, so, which is weird because doing martial arts, they talk about being fluid and just be like water. I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about, man? I'm waking up at 9 o'clock going to the gym, getting my ass kicked. Like, I don't know what you're talking about being like water. So, for me, more important than motivation is a personal commitment to myself that I've made. For me, if I have a commitment to myself, then it doesn't matter if I'm motivated or not. I have to do it. So, if I write down going to work out Monday 9 a.m. and on a piece of paper, and then I'm committed to that, it doesn't matter if I'm motivated or not. At that point, I don't care how I feel. I'm gonna go do it. So I think sometimes it helps us to take motivation out of it. We're always trying to look for motivation outside. Oh, look at this nice quote. Oh, look at this nice picture. Great. But for me, I notice a lot of people that do a lot of shit don't do anything else. They're always just feeling good about it. Sometimes you need. Sometimes
look for
you.
the new one, the new best quote.
Yeah, to me, it's like combating resistance is winning. So when I get up and my brain tells me to go back to sleep, I tell it to shut the fuck up, and I grab my shoes and my skipping rope when I go to the gym. And to me, that's way more important than being motivated. Is being committed, and even more to being motivated is momentum, the power of momentum, and like. I got a theory that I call Indiana Jones theory. Basically what it is like, you ever see Indiana Jones Temple of Doom? That big ball that's chasing
the boulder,
right? So to get that ball moving, it took so much energy at the beginning to get that ball moving at that speed. But once it started moving, man, it was going so fast you couldn't fucking stop it. And that's how fitness is. It's like, to get the ball moving and to get that momentum going, it sucks. Getting up and going to the gym when you haven't worked out forever, that sucks, man. The first 3 weeks suck. And then the 4th week, maybe it's a little bit easier. And then the 5th and 6th week. And then, 7 weeks in, you don't feel like going to the gym. And you think to yourself, wait a minute, it's like me to go to the gym. I don't care if I don't want to go or not. It's like me. It's who I am now. So go back to Indiana Jones theory. Build momentum and have a personal commitment to yourself and forget about motivation. Because as far as I know, it comes and it goes wherever the hell it wants. This is the way that I look at it, which is different. So like I said, if something's working for you, please continue doing what's working. If something's not working, maybe try something else or try something like that where I like taking motivation completely out of the so it's not even a factor to me. When people say, "Oh, are you motivated?" It's like, I don't know. I don't really think about it. I don't care. I really don't care if I'm motivated or not. I'm committed. There's a difference.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point. I sometimes use that because it's almost like you have no fucking choice. You gotta do it. And I sometimes use that with some clients when their health is at stake or if they have family. Then I'm gonna be, if they have any excuses, I'm just like, you know what? You have 2 freaking kids that you gotta freaking watch for. You are a role model. You are a parent. You have to be fucking healthy.
Exactly.
That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Sure.
And then they're just like, okay.
Yeah. It's amazing what people can do when they know you're not going to let them out of not doing it.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they can do.
There's no choice, right?
Yeah, right? It's just like, it's those decisions that you make, man, and like complaining and being lazy, they all suck vital energy away from you, I find, man. It's just like this morning I'm driving and I'm like, oh shit, like, I think I have a flat tire right now. So I look out, of course I do. I pull over and instead of being like, fuck, I'm going to be late for this or that, I hopped in my car without even thinking and got my spare. It took me 10 minutes. And I'm like, wow, that's actually, I was pretty proud of myself that I didn't just be like, shit, I got to call these people, I got to put all my meetings back and everything. But like, I don't want to let anything suck away vital energy in me, man. Like, so forget the complaining and get to the gym and don't overthink about it, man. Get out of your head and get into your body. That's what fitness is all about, right? Mm-hmm. So also, I wanted to run by you two is one thing that I really find that helps when I'm not motivated is to find purpose to my training and pay for it up front. So, there's a adventure race coming up in 2 months. Oh, I'm gonna pay for it. Oh, there's Tough Mudder coming up. I'm gonna pay for it. Oh, there's a marathon. When you pay up front for something, I find that my training completely changes. The purpose comes into it, and then it doesn't, like, motivation's not a factor again. It's just like,
but you also have a time frame as well.
Sure, it's like, oh shit, I got a jiu-jitsu competition in 6 weeks. Well, I don't want to get killed, so I better start training for it. Like,
it builds urgency.
It builds, exactly. Thanks, Kevin. It builds urgency and it adds purpose, which I'm huge about, man. Like, I want the why should be really, really big into why you want to be fit instead of just having a nice body. That's all great, but all that shit's going away at one point. We all know that, right? We're all temporary, right? So, I want to know why. Give me some purpose behind it. So, I wanted your take on that. Like, what do you guys think of like purpose and like signing up for something or having a photo shoot or like something? You think that would help or hinder?
I think that would help people a lot. I think that's actually a really good one. Sometimes I actually play that into goal setting as well. It's like I'll ask them, like, is there anything that you've always wanted to do? Something like a race or anything that was so big in your head that you thought that you could never reach? Tell me to it right now. And then when they tell it to me, then I'll be like, okay, can we set a time frame that you can hit it?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, actually I left that out when I was saying stuff about what I do with my clients. I actually do usually tell them, like, usually it's a marathon because everyone sees people running, so they're like, I could run too. So I'm like, is there like a marathon or like a 5K or even a 2K that you've been interested in doing in the past? And then usually there is one that they'll suggest, and then I usually tell them, yeah, just book it.
Sweet.
And then
so you
just
guys
work towards it, because then it gives them something to work on without me being there. Because
Sure.
especially if it's running, like everyone kind of knows how to run, right? Like even if you haven't ran for a while, like it's pretty hard not to know how.
Ooh, you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, no, it's true. No,
Kevin.
but like even like if you're running sloppy, like you're still getting somewhat out of it instead of running efficiently. But it still gives them that little bit so that they can do something outside of me.
Okay.
Because like when I don't, like if I'm seeing this client maybe once a week, I want to know that they're gonna do stuff on their own, and like everyone has those weird kind of days where you don't really feel that motivated. But I'm like, in those days, just run, and just go and just run or bike or something. It's always kind of working on an endurance thing where, because they also know that race is coming up soon, they kind of have to do it because they don't want to blow out during the race.
Sure. Awesome.
The other thing I was gonna say is, like, do you guys have a time? Especially if you're you're new to this specific thing that you're trying to do, is there a time that works really well for you to do it?
What do you mean?
Like a new skill. So like I guess if we're doing fitness right now, if you're new to fitness, so try to picture yourself new as fitness. Is there a time that works really well for you to kind of just get going with it throughout the day, that is?
Okay, you kind of lost me, dude.
Yeah, no, I didn't
Okay.
really get that
You
either.
mean like fits into someone's schedule? Is that what you mean?
Not necessarily in the
morning?
schedule, just like when you feel the most motivated to do it and you won't give up.
Oh, I see.
Like for me, it's in the morning. I hate, like I'm just not a morning person, I guess, so I'm always like, I feel like I need like an hour or two usually to kind of get going right away. So normally what I do is I just, no matter how shitty I feel or great I feel, I put on my shoes and I just go for a run. And on the good days, I'll run really far. I'll run maybe like 5K or more.
Okay.
The shitty days, I might not even get a K in, but as long as I just go out there and I kind of move and I get out of that little zone where I'm like, I don't feel great today, and I just go and I try to do something, and I push myself towards it, I find it just gets me going right off the bat, and the rest of the day goes really smooth because of that.
So look for a time that you're almost like in the zone, like.
Almost, or I'm maybe just getting it right off the bat so I don't get that laziness bug.
Okay, cool, man. Good, that's cool. Okay, let's move along here. We got quite a few more. All right, Kevin. Someone comes up to you. Do I need a personal trainer?
I want to say yes right off the bat, but I feel like I should give an elaboration of some sort.
Please, I'm gonna have to hold you to an elaboration. How about we let you think about that? I'm gonna ask
Well,
Beki.
I was gonna say like is this person new? Like I guess that would be my question. Like, are you new to fitness? Or
Yeah,
not new to
this
fitness?
is think of like the normal sedentary person who's probably doesn't have a lot of basic knowledge in fitness that wants to get back into good health and lose some fat.
I would say yes, and then my next question to them would be like, how serious are you at it? Because if you're really serious, then I would definitely say get the trainer and get that knowledge that they'll give you and provide you.
Okay. Beki?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Because first of all, I like to do things right the first time. So I asked them, I'm like, how long do you want to be struggling for? Do you want to struggle for the first only maybe half a year? Or do you want to struggle on your own for about 6 years before you finally get the idea? And I'm not trying to promote myself or these two lovely dudes beside me, but honestly, I don't ever tell people to sign up training with me when they ask me about personal training. I tell them, yes, you should get a trainer, especially if you don't know anything about weight training, because first of all, they will teach you everything you need to learn so that you will not fuck up or hurt yourself ever again. It's temporary, meaning that you can only train with them for maybe, 3 months or whatever to get the basic knowledge. Once you're saturated with the knowledge, you can literally leave them and you should be fine on your own until you get to your plateau, which should be about a year or two, depending on how smart you are and how much you want to research on your own. But during those 3 months, I can't guarantee that you won't love your trainer and want to be with them forever. Because honestly, I've met a lot of people who tell me that's what they want to do, and then they end up with me for longer.
Sure.
But like that aside, like honestly, I think that if you really want to get it done the right way and not waste time or money, which should be important to everybody, get a personal trainer. It's like, why do you want to go to school and learn stuff on your own when you can go to school from a teacher that's a professional and knows everything and could teach you the proper way so that you can understand it?
Yeah, that's
like it just makes so much sense.
Man, like both of you like touched on so many things that I want to talk about, and like for me, like I can't disagree with anything neither of you said. I agree with 100% everything that you said. For me, it's the answer is kind of like different. It's like I kind of think like, all right, how am I gonna put this? Okay, no, you don't need to have a personal trainer, but like Kevin and Becky both said, you need the information, the proper information and knowledge required to get the specific results that you want. So, no, you don't. You can fumble and get that information through books. You can get that through videos, but there's a lot of sorting through you have to go through to get that information.
Yeah, I like how Becky was saying it, kind of relating it to school, because in school, like, you invest all that money for that knowledge. So with personal training, think of it more like it's an investment towards yourself and health.
No, exactly, man, exactly. So yeah, it's a tough one for me because like, what I feel is like if you can get 20% of the information, that's going to yield you 80% of the result. That's a great fucking start. Mm-hmm. The problem is, like I touched on before, is that there's too much information that you have to sort through to get to the truth. And to get something, like I'm big on efficiency and effectiveness. I don't like spending a lot of time in the gym. I want to go there and do exactly, I want to have a purpose for every exercise, and I want to get the hell out. So for me, personally, I'd be like, well, I probably want a coach or someone that's better at me or has more information than me, because steel sharpens steel. You know, if I'm standing, if I'm a log and I'm next to another burning log, hopefully I catch on fire a little bit. You know, maybe I get a little bit what they have. That's kind of my mentality. Yeah. At the same time, I've seen people very successful train on their own and still be successful. So
it's very relative.
It is very relative. But what I like to say is that if you do get a personal trainer, do not get one that makes you reliant on them. Get one that empowers you. That's the difference. Like there's a lot of personal trainers, some great, some not so great. And the great ones are always empowering you with information and knowledge to make your life better, so you can decide what level of health that you're willing to work for. If you're being reliant on someone, what happens when that person's not around anymore? What happens when you're traveling? You know, like what happens when you're on your own? Like a good personal trainer should not be a babysitter. It should be an instructor. It should be teaching you information so that at one point when you don't need them anymore, that you're going to be perfectly fine on your own for your specific goals. And if your personal trainer can't leave you, then they haven't done their job correctly in my opinion, personal opinion.
Yeah.
It's just,
I 100%
it's just my personal opinion. Yeah. So I'm not hating on anyone. All I'm saying is that I never want to make anyone reliant on me. I want to empower people so they can decide on what level of health and fitness they're willing to work for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the personal trainer should always be telling them to practice what they've learned with them.
Exactly. And you know, like you can always get a personal trainer short term. Like sometimes like that's not necessarily the case, but if you're kind of like you were in athletics in high school and like you have a general idea of what you should be doing, pick up 6 or 12 sessions and let them know like, hey, like this is the X amount of dollars I have. This is what I want my goal to be, but I need to gain information so when I leave here, I can be productive and efficient and effective on my own. Mm-hmm. You know, like you got to have that dialogue going with someone who's going to help you out. So
yes,
yeah. So
your trainer should actually say that to you. I say that to all my clients.
Not all trainers say that. That's the problem, right?
Really?
But so yeah, I think the main thing is if you're going to find a personal trainer, find someone that you trust And if you're not, make sure you get your hands on the correct information for your specific goals. So
Yeah, definitely seek out more than one when you're looking for one if you are.
sure,
And
definitely
almost treat it like you're like buying a new car. Like
take it for a test drive.
Take it for a test drive.
Unless it's any of one of us, because we're,
Exactly.
we're
Oh,
just
yeah,
that
yeah.
awesome.
Well, especially if you feel the vibe right off. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you'll be sitting down with your personal trainer and they'll just wow you with what they're saying. And if that's the case, then go for it.
Yeah, and you never have to. You don't have to. Most personal trainers will never make you commit to something super long term. Like you got to make sure that it's the right situation for you. And like, like some people don't like the way that I personally like to push them. They don't like to be pushed. They like to be coddled and babysit. And that's not the kind of trainer I am. I'm gonna push your buttons. I'm gonna see what's inside of you, what's going on, and I'm gonna ask you what's going on with your diet and nutrition, and I want to see what's going on the outside of your life. And some people don't like that, So
I actually always warn my clients. I'm like, just so that you know, I'm the kind of trainer that wants to know about your personal life, and I'm going to tell you about my life. We become friends. We might even hang out outside the gym. So if you're not into that, don't pay me.
They're totally gonna hear about my dating life and everything.
Yeah,
everything.
That's
every little
complicated
dirt.
too. So, yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move this along. So,
well, before we actually go on, I was gonna say, if you do decide to get a trainer, never be afraid to communicate with them and let them know everything that's going on. Because I find a couple of clients sometimes they'll treat me like I'm like superior in some way, and they're afraid to tell me certain things sometimes. And honestly, that effect can hurt your training. So never ever feel like you can't talk to your trainer about something, even if it's small or stupid or. I can't think of anything else.
No, that's good. That's good. Awesome, Kevin. Okay, how often should I work out? I know it's very specific to someone's goals and what they're trying to accomplish, but let's just talk for general population here. Beki?
Okay, when I speak to a client who's sedentary, when they want to start training, what I normally first is I ask them how often are they training consistently for the last few months. And if they say it's been sporadic, then I say, can you come to the gym at least twice a week, is what I'll start with. And those are usually the times that they're with me. So I ask them, like, can you at least commit to 2 times a week for the first month? And that's it. I'm not even going to ask them to come in. And if you want to come in on your own, that's fine. And then usually we build on that.
Sweet.
And then how much they want to come in on their own, I generally let them kind of choose for themselves. Just because I don't want to say, I only want you to come in 3 times a week and that's it.
Sure. What about for someone that, Kevin, what about for someone who doesn't have a personal trainer? How often should they be training general population per week, let's say?
If I had to give like a default number, I would say anywhere from 3 to 5 or 3 to 4, just to be a little more generous. But what I was going to say is more just whenever you're capable of, honestly. Like, honestly, when you're training, sometimes your body's going to tell you, I'm broken today, just lay low and recoup. And if you feel that, like, your body's great at telling you how it feels. So if you feel like you're able to do the run or go for a workout, go for it. If you don't, like, if you feel like you're really drained and you need to rest that day, then rest.
I think that we should make a quick distinction here because I agree with Kevin. But at the same time, listen to your body, not your mind. Because your mind will give you every excuse to stay at home and sit on the couch and watch the hockey game.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like,
or do both if you can.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that'd be
work
even
out
better.
at home in front of the TV.
But we should make a distinction here. Like, listen, if your body's telling you it needs rest, rest. But your mind can sometimes give you excuses. Personally, that's how I find my mind works. Like, it'll be like, no, you got like 8 rounds of skipping in yesterday and some pad work, so you could just chill out today. But that's my mind.
Yeah.
That's not my body.
Yeah,
There's
if
a
your body's
difference, right?
If your body's able to go, go.
Yeah.
Just don't skip again. Like, go swimming or something.
Awesome.
Like, switch it up.
Okay, so how much you should work out. The only other things I'd like to kind of touch on this subject is what most population doesn't realize is when you're in the gym, you're not building anything. You're breaking down everything. There's a catabolic effect that's actually occurring. So the recuperation that is required, especially if you're you're working out at a high intensity, you need to get your rest. It's just like, that's a huge part. That's when you're rebuilding, So I think we should just get rid of coming to the gym and you're thinking about building muscles or that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. You're tearing shit. You're breaking everything down essentially.
That's
You know.
I was
So-
just having a conversation with my client about that a couple of weeks ago. That's so funny. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, please. Like, I think that's a huge misconception is people go to the gym like, oh, I'm going to build some muscle today,
Yeah.
I'm going to, you know, and it's just like, no, and really you're not. Like, we're going to come here, we're going to break apart your muscle fibers, and we're going to get your heart rate jacked up so it can get used to it, and then you're going to go home, then you're going to eat properly, and then you're going to rest and recuperate, and that's when you're actually doing all the repairing. So I just I wanted to kind of touch on that. How much should I work out? It depends. Like I probably wouldn't recommend as much as 5 times a week personally. The way exactly. The way that I work out honestly is I'm efficient and effective. I want to get in. I work out at a high intensity for 40 minutes to an hour tops, and then I get out and like. I'm very much more concerned with the other 23 hours of my day than the 1 hour in the gym. If I could focus on the other 23 hours and living properly during that time, then I feel like my results speak for itself.
Actually, I have a quick thing that's kind of
Sure,
it's like
please.
an off topic, but would you guys consider cardio? Like for me, when I go for my runs in the morning, I don't consider those workouts. Would you guys consider those?
Can you hold that? Because that's a question coming up in like 3 more. I promise we'll touch on that. But I wanted to get Becky's take on it first, specifically for women, and then I'm going to ask you that, okay? Hold that thought for a sec. I'm just going to move on. Sorry, Kevin, to cut you off, by the way.
That's okay.
Okay.
But, you actually addressed something that was interesting when you were saying, like, breaking down the muscles, and you were saying, like, you need to get the right food in and all that. I think we were talking about that earlier in the podcast about, like, nutrition.
Yeah.
And how, like, if you're putting in fillers in your body, you're not going to rebuild those properly.
Sure, absolutely.
So the food that you put in after your workouts is a huge deal.
Absolutely, man. And maybe we can talk about like kind of like post-workout meals and stuff like that in a sec.
We could do that.
Okay. Kevin, what do you think of P90X, Insanity, and CrossFit in 1 minute or less?
Like just a general.
Like someone comes to you. Hey, I want to do P90X. I want to do Insanity. That's like the latest one, right? Have you heard of that one?
I have.
Something Insanity.
I've done all of them. I've done all of them, and honestly, I love all of them. But if you're a beginner,
Talk this way, Kevin.
Sorry. All right. So I've tried all of them, and I love all of them, but I'm not a beginner. So if you're a beginner, I would not walk into a CrossFit gym. I would not probably do Insanity, because like if you've never even moved off that couch for the longest time,
Sure.
Insanity basically you're going to be moving your ass for
for those that don't know,
minutes.
Insanity is like it's like an online DVD, high intensity, high aerobic, high resistance workout. Sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, so basically like we were saying, like you're going to be moving your ass for like 60 minutes. Or even more. I'm not even sure how long they go because like I'm just that tired I lose track of time. So if you're a brand new beginner, I would recommend just going to the gym or what GJ suggested, just getting out there, moving. And then once you kind of get that rhythm of the moving, then you can start trying the P90X and the Insanity and the CrossFit. To me, like they're like a level above intermediate. Like they're just starting intermediate. Maybe.
Sure. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Becky, P90X, Insanity, CrossFit. Thoughts?
I'm probably the only person in the world who's done none of them. I've done my CrossFit type of things, and I actually do have a lot of friends who've told me like I'm doing P90X and I'm doing Insanity. What do you think of that? And I'm just like, honestly, I don't care for those too much.
Okay.
I can make up my own programming and stuff like that.
Sure.
I think it's a great alternative for people who can't afford personal trainers because it is cheap. But that being said, I'm just afraid for those people who hurt themselves.
Sure.
So it's the only thing that would stop me from it is the risk factor for a lot of people. And yeah, that's like, I'm sure it's a great workout because a lot of people tell me how great it is, but it's the risk thing that's the biggest thing that with me.
And in the beginning, that's what I was kind of getting at with if you're new to it or new to fitness, the risk factor of getting injured, because they don't actually teach you how to actually properly do the movements. They kind of just tell you to do the movement, and then you follow along with the person on the TV.
Sure. Awesome. Okay, so P90X, I think that it could be a great tool personally. The one thing that I really respect from it is something called muscle confusion that they talk about. and it's basically a way to break through plateaus by keeping your muscles guessing. Like you both said, it's not for the beginner, so do not jump into that. Insanity, I have a lot of people ask me about that. I've never used it, and I don't know nothing about it, so I'm sorry I can't help you with that. And CrossFit, oh man, you CrossFit guys are gonna hate me for this, but I have a couple issues with CrossFit. I think it can be an amazing tool. I really believe that. Unfortunately, the teachers that I've had from CrossFit are telling me to do stuff that I should not be doing. And the one thing that I have a problem with is the high reps of the Olympic lifts over your head. Like those are supposed to be 1 or 2 rep max, and you shouldn't be pushing yourself to 20 or 30 reps on that. And you see a lot of
guy tell you to do 20 or 30. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I like to reiterate, CrossFit is not the problem, it's the instructor or instructors that I've had. So
Yeah,
like
definitely.
they have a couple of movements that I don't think should be done at high reps, and the product of that is a lot of knee and shoulder issues. So that's kind of
Even the core, I find a lot of people that are beginners don't have really good cores, and in CrossFit it's very core based.
Sure, but
So if your
again,
core's not there and they're telling you to go right ahead and do a clean, that's gonna be a lot of spinal compression.
exactly, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on CrossFit, because I think it's freaking awesome if you get the right instructor and you have the right pedigree of trainer. Then CrossFit can be an amazing tool for an elite athlete.
I don't even know what I was saying, because like my training is almost based on that now.
Sure, but the specific moves in CrossFit is very different to just the intensity level. The intensity is not what my issue is. It's the movements that are occurring, and like your joints and your ligaments and your tendons and all the cartilage can only handle so much.
Yeah.
And the percentage of people getting injured doing CrossFit is pretty high. Let's just call it like it is. It's pretty high.
Yeah. It's not for everyone, CrossFit.
Yeah,
It's
so-
definitely not.
so-
it's for those that can really want to take it to that next level, and they just don't stop.
Exactly. So, not hating on CrossFit. Do your homework. Make sure you get the right instructor, and make sure that you are definitely not nowhere a beginner. You're more intermediate, advanced, if you want that kind of a specific workout.
Definitely
So,
for CrossFit.
yeah, awesome. Okay, Beki. Women, they're constantly complaining about getting bulky with resistance training. Can you please break this down, because I'm sick of talking about it, so I'm hoping you
Oh
can.
my goodness. Okay.
So the absolute question is, more response. I don't want to lift weights. I'm gonna get bulky. I'm gonna get big arms and big chest.
I want to look like a
Okay.
man.
So
Please.
this is my response, and I get a lot of this because I primarily train out of a women's gym. So whenever a girl comes up to me and says, I don't want to do resistance training, I don't want to get bulky, first thing I'll do is I'll ask them, like, do you think I look bulky? And they'll look at me, they're like, your body's beautiful, I would love to have your body. And I'm like, do you know how heavy I lift? And then they will look at me strangely, and I'll be like, well, I definitely can squat over 100 pounds. And then they're like, what? And then that's when I start to tell them, like, look, as a woman, we don't have the proper hormones, testosterone in our bodies for us to get bulky like men. That's why men get
Exactly.
bulky. They've got the hormone that bulks muscle.
And the women that you see that are extremely bulky, they're on anabolic steroids.
Yes.
Like, so
That's another
please,
thing.
like, you know, when you hear some woman, she's like, "Hi, my name's Rhonda." Like, that's your first clue.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of women that you see, especially in those fitness magazines, because that's probably what you're looking at, those bodybuilding magazines,
Sure.
they're huge because of the type of programming they do, and because they do take some type of hormonal thing that helps them get that bulky for size and for competition. So you have to realize that these professional athletes, they do that for competition. They're not doing it for fun. You're a for fun person. Actually, I laugh at most girls who think that they'll get bulky. I'll be like, do you know how hard you have to fucking lift?
Yeah.
How long you have to do that for to even get close to that size? I'm like, you wish you can get that big. And then that's when they realize, okay, I can't do that.
Exactly. I just to reiterate on what Becky's saying, the truth is that, and please, I want to get both your takes on this, and this kind of relates to what we were talking to earlier. The truth is that if you want to alter the shape of your body, you're gonna resistance training is required for that.
Yes.
So like, you see a lot of people with CCS, chronic cardio syndrome.
Oh God!
Right?
Yeah.
And the way that I personally like to break it down to someone is if someone comes to me and they're doing cardio, I literally tell them if your body's a pear shape and you do cardio, there's a good chance that you may become a smaller pear. But if your body is a pear shape and you do strategic, effective, and efficient resistance training mixed in with cardio, you can alter your body to some extent. Obviously not changing the direction of your hip bones, but you can literally, you can add more muscle density to your body. And that's what women want, yet they're so terrified of lifting weights.
It's
So
the
there's
knowledge. Education and knowledge.
It's definitely
is a big
education
thing.
and knowledge.
Exactly. So
Thing I'll say about that is look up the difference between men's muscle fibers and females' muscle fibers. When you look up that, you'll see that men's muscle fibers are actually built to bulk, where women's actually don't.
Sure. But so women, we just need to get you over that. We need to get over that hump, that mental hump in your brain. That lifting weights is going to make you huge and bulky. What it is a requirement. If you want to shed fat and you want to tone, it's a requirement for resistance training. So
one thing I will add for you ladies who are first starting out. So if you have a lot of body fat on your body and you start to add weight training, and you start to realize, oh, I'm getting bulky. It's because the body fat on top of your muscles hasn't really decreased yet. Give it some time to melt off. Build more muscle, because muscle actually is what eats your fat.
Thank you.
Build the muscle so the muscle can eat your fat. You will tone down, and when the muscles start appearing, you're going to fucking love it. If I could flex you my muscles right now and show you, you would love it.
She's got pipes.
Yeah, we'll have to start recording this too.
Well, no, I got it, man. I got everything.
I can use the iPad next time. Just put it right there.
So we talked about that. Another thing I want to talk about is it's not really a question, just more of a comment. I just want you guys to riff on it a little bit, especially you, Beki. Is that women get into the zone of doing yoga and they think that's if they do yoga and that's their fitness
End
thing.
all be all.
Yeah, and like to me, first off, I'm a huge fan of yoga. Like it's a huge part of my life. And I definitely see the benefits, but personally, I think that should be a supplement to your workout. It shouldn't be your workout. And I hear a lot of women say, oh, I'm getting a great workout in yoga. I'm like, great, but you're telling me you want these goals, and it's like putting a square peg in a round hole. Like, you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve by doing yoga 6 times a week. Any thoughts on that, Beki?
I actually have a few people that I know who claim that yoga is their way of workouts. So when I talk to them about that, the yogis, yeah.
Are you here?
Do they also have always a green cup of some sort, like the drink that is?
The green cup.
That
I don't know.
All the yogis I know of, they're just so into this wheatgrass stuff.
Oh yeah, well see, wheatgrass is great. That's completely off topic, but wheatgrass is great. It's great detoxifier, has all these great nutrients. But going back to yoga, you know what? I agree with you, DJ. Yoga is a great workout for your mind, for your body, but it doesn't give you the same effects as resistance training will. I've actually had a talk with a past client. I used to train her, and I guess she went on a tangent where she decided to go research on her own for things, and now her thing is yoga. That's all she does. And I asked her, I'm like, well, where are you getting your proper resistance training? And she goes, well, there's body-weighted stuff in yoga. And I'm like, that's fantastic, but where's your challenge? Like, where's the stuff that really hits it hard so that you're getting the proper, like the bone density that you need or the growth that you need? And she really couldn't answer that. But then she went on about what the instructors say. Like I'm finding that the instructors actually will vocally tell some of the participants that if you want all the stuff that you need from resistance training, you can get it from yoga. All the stuff that you get from cardiovascular work, you can get it from yoga. And I've actually had an instructor say those words in a class that I was in. And I didn't say anything, but I was just like, what?
The truth is that you can't get anything, or you can't get 100% what yoga can with resistance training either.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't get what resistance training from yoga. Like, they're both completely separate entities, and that's the real truth. And they're both extremely valuable. So
It's definitely a complement to your workout. Like, I agree. Like, when I use yoga strictly to complement my workouts.
Sure.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
my base
Compliment
is
is a
always
good
resistance.
word for that.
Yeah.
And it's a great compliment, Kevin. Like doing yoga is a great compliment to your workout. Even just, I find like being able to focus on some stability and coordination, because everyone's training for fat loss, for toning, for strength. What about coordination and flexibility and dexterity and coordination? Like, yoga's great for all those things where you bring in your mind into play as well. So, like I said, I'm a huge yoga fan, but if you're focusing on transforming your body, yoga alone is not going to be the answer for you. And that's just the truth.
Yeah, I would say varietize as much as possible, because each one kind of complements each other. But like you were saying, there's no one thing that'll get you. Like, there's no one end all be all. Like, there's nothing that will get every single spectrum that you're looking for.
Sure. All right, Kevin, here's one that I had specifically for you. How do I get a six-pack?
Jesus, just go to the
500
gym.
punches.
200, yeah, exactly. Do 200
500
crunches.
punches?
200. I was going to say 200. Apparently she does 5.
That's
I
the
don't know.
question, Kevin. I'm not pulling any punches. I want to know, how do I get a six-pack, Kevin?
I would say first start identifying the different muscles that are in your stomach. Start with something simple like a plank or something, just so that you can start feeling how it feels like to stimulate the muscles in your stomach.
For those that don't know what a plank is, it's when you're kind of facing the floor and you have your arms out and you're balancing on your... I can't explain this. I'm butchering this. Becky?
Try to think of, what triangle is this? Is that the isosceles triangle? Okay. I was trying to be
None of us here
We
are
need
good
to-
at
Okay,
this with physics and math.
Basically, if you're lying on the floor facing down, put your hands underneath your shoulders and then push yourself up into a push-up position with your hands
Yeah.
underneath your shoulders.
There
That's
you
a
go.
plank. But don't stick your butt up or push your hips to the floor.
Exactly. We'll make sure we'll include a video on that for the show
Google
notes.
it.
Exactly.
Just YouTube
Google
that,
plank.
Yeah, Google
Exactly.
or, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, what that's working as a group of muscles called the transverse abdominis. But what Kevin's getting to is that you're noticing different parts in your core, right, Kevin?
It's more just like muscle awareness. Like, you can sit there and do sit-up after sit-up, but if you don't know how to stimulate your abs, you're basically just moving your hips.
Awesome.
So try to start realizing which muscles and how to stimulate them. And then after the plank, maybe go into a turtle. I think that's what it's called, where you lay on your back and you bring both your limbs in a bent position, so your arms and your knees, so your elbows and your knees, are both bent at a 90-degree angle, and then you start to kind of lift your butt and then your head off the ground. Or I guess your shoulders, not your head, because you shouldn't be torquing your
This
head.
is extremely hard to describe to people, but
Yeah.
again, I'll put it in the show links as well, because I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about either.
I'm like, I'm lost too.
But okay, basically what you're saying is work different parts of your core. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily working different parts of your core, but just really identifying the muscles that you're working as you're moving.
Okay.
So that you're not kind of just throwing and using momentum and kind of just tilting your hips and essentially just bending for no reason.
Cool. Becky, how do I get a six-pack?
Well, you can't get a six-pack by just doing core exercises, number one. You have to watch your diet.
Thank you.
Nutrition, so important. I find that a lot of people will, they will break their backs basically doing all these core exercises and they run themselves to death, and then they go to me and say, I do all these ab stuff, why my abs look like this? And I'm like, what are you doing at home? First of all, because it's not what you do in the gym. What do you do at home? Do you eat like crap? Do you drink coffee all day? Do you not drink any water? Like,
Beer.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I find the nutrition is the biggest thing, because if you're doing the work, it will come. If you're sabotaging your work, that's why it won't come. So if you're doing the great workouts, or whatever it is, like I don't care what your workouts are, if you're doing the right workouts, but you're fucking up your diet, that's why you will not get your six-pack. So do the work, complement with very, very good nutrition, and it will come. Like, it will be
It was like you were
guaranteed.
saying, when you gotta burn off that fat with the
Awesome.
muscle. So you gotta get rid of all that
Yeah.
fat so the muscle will show.
I think the biggest misconception is abs are made in the gym. They're actually made in the kitchen. And that's what I personally believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do as many crunches as you want. The fact is everyone actually has six-pack muscles. Is that most people have a layer of fat over top of them.
Yeah.
You know,
big fat layer of fat.
Exactly.
Oh, there is a misconception
two
of
layers
that
of fat
because
actually over
of
your stomach.
chairs nowadays.
The top part and the lower part.
Exactly.
The visceral fat, people totally discount that.
I know, yeah. What Becky's talking about is fat over your midsection, essentially. But yeah, diet is a huge portion. It's basically a lot to do with body fat percentage too. So you know, like people say, you know, it might be a little bit what's the word I'm looking for when you have a six-pack and you're all like not cocky.
Showy with
Yeah, but you know, again, like if you have a strong core and you want your muscles to show, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No
you know?
way, man.
No,
I
it's
think
just
it's-
other people being
If you
jealous.
worked your
Honestly,
butt off
yeah.
for abs, show
Kevin, you're
it
right.
off.
Kevin, you're right. People,
Yeah.
you know, like what's wrong
Like,
with
honestly,
having
I
a six-pack?
hate going into places when you're like, I think it was like, I can't remember where I was or who I even said it, but I was wearing a white shirt, but then you could see my abs through the shirt. And let's
Were
just
you
say-
walking like this though, Kevin, the whole time?
No, I wasn't
Yeah,
walking
were
like
you
that.
like-
No,
were
I
you
was
directions?
just normal. I was just normal.
I'm just playing with you. Bro.
But I was clearly the elephant in the room because of that.
Yeah,
And
no, I
was
feel
like,
you, man.
It's retarded. People's jealousy over that.
But
There
you
will
know,
always
like
be
it's
haters.
there's gonna be haters, you know. But that's what's
But
gonna happen.
But
so.
just like in sports, like if everyone's hating on you, you're doing something right.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's the biggest
when
thing.
the haters come out to play, you know you're doing something right,
Yeah.
right? But okay, so and as far as like the actual muscles of the six-pack, like variety of workouts and a variety of core work and adding resistance to your core work, I find that helped me personally. Like just adding like a 25 or a weight on my chest when I'm doing a crunch, and then coming back down nice and slow, and really mixing it up and eating clean. And like if you one thing that there's a lot of debate over this in the fitness industry, but I'm a big fan of sprinting and high intensity intervals.
I
And
agree.
like there's a lot of debate on whether it's really effective. For me, I can only go with what I've seen, and like when I want to shred, I'll add sprints in, and literally like 3 or 4 weeks later, like my body fat just melts off. I'll hit the track. I'll do 10 sprints, 100 meters, and I'll just walk back. I'll do 10 of them. It'll take me like 15 minutes.
Oh, that's probably the best.
Yeah,
I find that totally shred my midsection through kickboxing.
absolutely,
Kickboxing
man.
is probably one of the best, especially if you're doing a lot of kicks and punches. Whoa.
Yeah, you're
Awesome.
constantly turning your
Yes.
obliques.
That's
You're
actually what I was
constantly
gonna say.
holding and keeping your
Yeah.
core tight.
I
Yeah.
love that workout for the core.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that a lot of people, when they think core, they're always thinking like sit-ups or like just kind of folding
yeah.
motions with your body.
Like,
You
I
can
don't
also,
do any of that
don't
stuff.
forget about twists. Like the rotations that your core can also do. Like your abs got to tighten up when you're twisting. So while doing those, like that'll get you that extra little bit as well.
Awesome. Kevin, someone asked you, what kind of supplements should I take?
Well, that depends on what they're lacking, I guess, because like supplements are basically what we're not getting in through food or enough through food.
I know it's a tough question
So-
for the general population, by the
Yeah.
way, and I kind of put you under the gun there. But
Maybe we should just say what we take. Maybe might
Sure.
be easier.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah, let's
'cause
do
like,
that.
honestly, like it's to me like supplements is what you're missing in your diet, because like a lot of times like you can't sit there and eat like 5 or not 5. I guess like maybe 2 or 3 chicken breasts in one sitting, right? So you have to supplement some protein in there through the shake. And then like some people that are missing essential fatty acids, you got to take the omega-3s, 6s, or 5s if you don't
Sure.
want to eat like avocados and almonds and all those all the time.
what about Becky? What kind of supplement should I take? Like, hold that thought, Kevin, because I want to get back to you
Yeah.
for a sec.
See, this stuff is actually a very gray area that I find with clients because I don't like to recommend or tell them to take supplements. I don't ever say this is what you need to take. I never say that to them. I tell them what is good for them. So I would say, protein shakes are great because they offer the best types of protein for your dietary needs. There's absolutely zero fats and calories involved. I also, like Kevin, I cover the omegas. It's good for you, especially when you're adding resistance training for your joints. And then I talk about like glucose levels and training, like after you finish training, like what can you take to supplement in terms of your nutrients and blah blah blah. Like
Sure.
so I'll say. Antioxidants are great, especially of all the free radicals that you start to build up through resistance training. So I give them the information, and then I let them do what they want with that information. So if I tell them that, and they say, you know what, from what you've told me, I think I'm going to go buy some fish oils. And I'm speaking in terms of what I've actually done with a client.
Okay.
Because I've told him all what I know, and he said, because he asked me this, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go buy some fish oils. He's like, which kind should I buy? So I kind of guide him towards a type that is good quality that I know of. And then he goes and does it. And then I just kind of, and I tell him to tell me, when are you taking it, and so forth. But if he decides to take it, I always say, well, why are you taking it? Why do you think you need to take it? So I want to make sure that they know why they're doing it by answering my questions. And when I am happy with that answer, then I will let them. I find that too many people take supplements because either they see a commercial or they hear their friends saying, oh, I heard this is good. So they just go and buy it
Sure.
at anybody or like I hate that.
Awesome.
So that's why it's such a great area for me. Like I don't push people on it. I tell them what I know and I let them make the decisions and then I guide them when they make that decision.
Yeah, supplements is a hard one too, especially if you're like looking online. There's a lot of sites that'll tell you like, take this, take that. If you want this, take that.
And
they
people's
don't really give you
bodies
reasons.
are different too.
Sure.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
people react differently to different types of supplements, and male and females take different supplements. If you're obese or if you're malnourished, or it's so big. It's so
kind
big.
of a hard one because like, sometimes if the client can afford it, I'll sometimes tell them to go see like a naturopath even.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see what they are missing so that they can cover what they're lacking.
Sure. For me, like, this is a really tough one for me because, like, basically I can only talk about what I've experienced personally with supplements. And, like, I used to be huge onto supplements. I do the fish oils. I do the three sixes and nines, three fives and nines. 3 6s and 9s and omegas. And then I was doing, like, protein powders and, like, I was doing recovery shakes and stuff. And then, like, one day it occurred to me, like, instead of spending all this money a month on supplements, what if I just started adding more real food instead of spending $100 a month on supplements, I spent extra $100 on real food.
Yeah.
And seeing how that would benefit me. And to me, like, personally, like, the convenience factor is why I took supplements, because, like, it's easy to throw down 30 grams of protein in the morning through a shake rather than eating sometimes. But I'm kind of, like, moving towards just eating more real food, man, to be honest with you. And,
me
like,
too.
the one supplement that I do, like, there's a lot of controversy on fish oils and if they work or not. For me, they 100% work. And the only reason why I know that is when I get off of fish oils, how my joints feel. I don't notice it when I'm on it, but when I get off of it for a couple of weeks, I like to cycle it. I don't like to keep my body on the same pattern for a long time. So, but I definitely feel my joints way more lubricated with when I take fish oil. So that's one that I keep, but I try to get as much as my nutrition through real food, man. And like,
definitely.
it's tough. Like, it's tough sometimes, but and I don't hate on anyone that takes supplements, but to be honest, I just haven't had that great of results with them personally. Besides the fish oils, that is.
Well, there's just so many different things that you get through food that if you were to have to supplement all of those, like, you'd be taking 100 different supplements, right? So
yeah,
if you can eat the real thing, you're getting that much more every time. Best way I kind of found to eat more real food all the time is to kind of really start picking, like, looking in advance the week ahead and then knowing what you're going to have to do during that week and then planning your meals based on those. So you have to kind of get a little bit more creative with it and a little more organized, I guess. But I find it's worth it.
Sure. Cool. Okay, so let's wrap this up quickly in like maybe 10 minutes or so. Just a couple things I wanted to run by. So we talked a lot about nutrition, and like, I'm not a nutritionist, but I've dated a lot. So I can only speak for what I've kind of gone over, and I know you guys are nutrition geeks as well. And I wrote something called Nutritious Eating in 73 Words or Less. And I just wanted to run through it.
73 words or less?
It's called Nutritious Eating for Most of Us in 73 Words or Less. I think it's like 72 words or something like that.
Okay.
So I was going to read it to you, get your thoughts on it, and if you have any knowledge or anything to maybe pick at or kind of add to, please add to it. Mm-hmm. So I wrote, eat foods as close to the source, nature, as possible. Choose food sources from things that grow, run, fly, or swim. Root vegetables, leafy greens, quality poultry, fish, beef, foods from the sea, nutrient-dense carbohydrates mostly coming from fruits and vegetables, nuts and eggs. Hydrate yourself. limit sauces, dressings, deep fried, artificial sugars, preservatives, sodas, processed candy, excessive salt, artificial foods, or items with a long shelf life. So that's like what I had.
The last bit was avoid, right?
Yeah, I'll give it to you one more time. Eat foods as close to the source, nature, as possible. Choose food sources from things that grow, run, fly, or swim. Root vegetables, leafy greens, quality poultry, fish and beef, foods from the sea, nutrient-dense carbohydrates, mostly from fruits and vegetables, nuts and eggs. Hydrate yourself, limit sauces, dressings, deep fried, artificial sugars, preservatives, sodas, processed candies, excessive salt, artificial foods, or items with a long shelf life. So,
Definitely agree 100% with that.
can you basically like? I wanted to keep it simplified because everything's so complicated. Like you go to the bookstore, and there's experts with completely different views on eating. So for me, I don't join any team. I don't wear any badge. I'm not paleo this. I'm not abs diet that. I'm not Atkins this. I use what works and I discard what doesn't. For me personally, and I encourage everyone to do the same. Don't fall under a badge and don't be a sheep. Do research and test it out on yourself and make your own decisions based on your own criteria.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get like that's kind of my personal
As a
way of
principle of what you read out, I think that's 100% good. Like if you follow that as a principle guideline, I think that's perfect.
Yeah, notice that it mentioned words like organic or you know,
that's actually what I was gonna ask you,
magical berries picked from one-armed monks in Brazil, or you know, like there's a lot of capitalism going into healthy foods these days, and it really fucking hurts me, man.
Yeah.
Like because like you know when you're selling quinoa for $25 a bag, the problem is no one would buy it if it was $3. No one would buy it. They'd be like, oh, this isn't no superfood, quotation superfood, you know. So like, get away from the quick fixes, get away from the magic pills. Save the magic for Houdini and eat clean. Like we all know inside of us, you know, what's real and what's not. Focus on eating real food. And it sucks that I have to say real food. It should just be everything should be real. Yeah. But like that's the way I personally feel about it. Yeah. So do you guys have anything to add to that, or?
I would say also just research also what you're putting into your body. So like start with like researching what a carb is, what a simple carb is, a complex carb, and then a fat, and then a protein.
But honestly, man, the general population is not going to do that. That's just the truth, you know. Like that's why I'm trying to break it down in such a small amount.
I think it's also like if they want or not, though, right? Like you can be naive to it, or you could actually want it.
Yeah, I think people need to be accountable for that because first of all, everybody eats. You got to feed yourself. Why shouldn't you know about that stuff?
Sure.
And you know what? In my classes, when I talk about like some muscular terms or whatever, and I actually sometimes get mad in my classes. I'll be like, you know, you guys come into this gym, and I know you guys spend money and you spend a lot of time in here. Do yourself a favor and actually learn some of the shit because why the fuck are you wasting so much of your life doing this? Like, why? What's the point? Like, I can't stand it when people do things blindly. Like when people walk, like I tell people to walk, I'm like, always walk with a purpose. Wake up with a purpose. Make sure whatever you're doing, even if it's just to walk across the street, you're walking across the street with a purpose. You're walking across the street to get to that store.
Sure.
Or whatever. So I just kind of went on a tangent.
No,
very empowering.
Okay, cool, guys. Kind of the last thing I wanted to go over is what do you both do for your training, your personal training regimen, and then what is your philosophy for fitness? Those are kind of the two things. So Kevin, like, what do you do? What do you do?
More like strength training?
Well, like I'm just thinking we have an opportunity. We got two awesome personal trainers here from you guys, and I just want to know what do you guys do for your personal fitness? Because not everyone gets to go in and see what like someone.
Are you telling me to lay out like my workout?
Exactly. What do you do? Give me a week in Kevin working out, and then just give me your quick training philosophy of like the way that you kind of think of things on a
most of my
level.
workouts I do on a weekly basis are up on my blog, so if people want to see that, I recommend just checking that out, and then when you read the name that I wrote down, Google that, YouTube that, ask me about it if you don't know what it is. Don't just do it.
What's the blog address?
I believe it's Kevin John without an H, so Jon Chang CHANG .blogspot.ca or something like that. But we can put it on the bottom of a note for this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. We'll put it on the note as well. But yeah, that's it. And then
but my philosophy, that was the other part of it?
Yeah, like just your overall mentality towards health and fitness. Like
besides knowing that it's gonna do me good in the long run, just because I'm a fairly active person, I don't think I'll ever stop being active. Like you were saying, you train for a purpose, and mine would be to just keep moving. But now that I'm doing sports and stuff all over again, like
Hockey.
yeah, like hockey, soccer, snowboarding, and all those, like I know I do a lot of training specifically for those on certain days, and then the other days are more just to maintain my overall health, I guess. Because I know I'm going to want to try different things in the future, and I don't know what they'll be, but I want to be as prepared as possible for them.
Awesome, man. Great answer. Great answer. Becky?
Oh, I might be on here for a while.
Please.
That's okay.
Okay, my personal training regiment. I train pretty much 6 days a week. Out of those 6 days, 2 of the days I train for 2 hours, but that's because I teach classes and I go crazy in my classes.
You're training while you're teaching.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's part of work. But on my own time, I usually focus on. I usually break up my muscle groups. So I focus on upper body, lower body, and then cardio and core. So that's how I break it up. I always let my muscles rest for 24 hours, sometimes even more if I need to. And Saturday is my one day off that I don't go near the gym unless I have to. So that's basically my measurement. I don't like to train for more than an hour. Although if I do, it's because I'm spending at least half an hour foam rolling or stretching,
Sure.
stuff that
chatting.
yeah. Oh, I don't chat. My headphones are on.
Oh, really?
I don't like
Do you
when
tell
I'm.
everyone to
She's
go
one of
away
those
and you
don't
give the-
talk to me.
Yeah, do you have the
I-
You put the
go away
hoodie on?
face?
Oh,
You put the
I'm
hoodie on?
no. I put my earphones on really loud.
Oh, really?
So when I'm walking around the gym, people will be like, "Hi, Becky," and I can't hear them, so I'll just wave and I'll just walk. I'll just
Nice.
keep
Oh,
walking.
really? I can't
Yeah.
help but stop and talk to them.
No, I don't.
You're a
When I'm
chatterbox, dude. That's
Oh.
why.
if you want to chat
Oh,
with
they're
me,
pretty
I have
girl.
to be. So that's different. I'm in a women's gym. Who am I going to talk
Kevin's
to?
in the corner.
Oh,
1001.
yeah.
1002.
Watch me squat now with this while I'm bicep curling.
Nice.
See, well,
Is that what you do? Do you tap them on the shoulder? Hey, watch me squat while I'm bicep
No,
curling.
no.
Okay, cool. And what about what about your training philosophy, Becky? Kind of like maybe not personally, just like kind of like an overall general.
Well, my philosophy basically runs with my business. My personal training business is called Bodies for Life Training.
Is there a website too for that?
There is a website. It's bltrainingvancouver.com. I'm having it's down right now, so I'm kind of fixing it.
Okay,
so,
cool,
Yeah, you can't
cool.
really do anything with that. But I do most of my stuff through like Twitter and Facebook right now.
Awesome.
But like exactly what my business name says is my philosophy. I think every single person should have a capable body for life. I don't discriminate against age, against size, against capabilities. If you have one arm, one leg, it doesn't fucking matter. Every single person is capable of fitness. I
Awesome.
don't care if you tell me that you're 90 years old. I'm like, you can still do something for you. It doesn't have to be comparable to me, but it will be good enough for you. And I think that everyone should have that access to it. So my goal is to change that. I want everyone to have access to fitness and health, education, the capability to actually move, and yeah, and I think everyone should do it and love it because I absolutely love fitness. I fucking love fitness. I can't even imagine my life without it. So when I see people who are sedentary, I just look at them and I'm like,
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I need to change your life. I need to
I don't
help
see how
you.
people can like that. Like, you feel so great.
Because we're on autopilot, man. Like we're all living on. Most of us are living on autopilot, and shit can get out of hand really quick, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess so.
you know. But that was an awesome answer, and I guess my answer would be like, well, my training regimen is kind of. I hit the gym twice a week. I work out for 40 minutes, and it's usually a full body, kind of a blitz kind of a workout. And then the rest of the time, I'm just playing. I'm either at jujitsu or
He's trying to find my address.
kickboxing
11:39.
or
Just tell him
going
to
out for a
towards
run.
Weston across the street.
So, yeah, like, and my whole training philosophy is train less and play more. That's the only way that I know how to keep it sustainable is to make fitness fun. And if you're not having fun, you should do something else because my motivation kind of comes from I want an opportunity to grow old and be able to be active, man. I want to be 60-year-old riding a bicycle or, I want to be 75 and paddleboarding in Hawaii and, and at the same time, I want to see how far I can take this vehicle that I have because, like, I feel like, if I feel like I'm a Ferrari, so I need to fuel my body. I need to fuel my body like a Ferrari. I'm not giving it regular gasoline. I'm giving it the best gasoline available, and like, you know, and then I eat food as medicine 6 days a week, and then 1 day a week I go nuts and eat whatever the hell I want. So, yeah, train less and play more is my mentality, and no matter what you do something. I think that's the most important thing, is to do something, because a lot of people talk about it, but, you know, and you know, I'll start fresh on Monday. It's funny how Monday just never comes, right? So forget about the resolutions, forget about the beginning of the week. Do something. Write shit down and do it. Like,
just
it doesn't
do it.
have to be. Yeah, they got it right. And Nike got it right with that.
I know.
Like,
I'm so jealous that they got that.
yeah, they got it right with that. It's just don't make it overcomplicated, man, and don't try to be perfect. Just focus on progressing every time, and try to figure out how can you be better today than I was yesterday.
Yes.
You know, and like, if you do that, man, compound interest will catch up to you, and you'll be way ahead of the pack. So that's kind of all I gotta say about that.
Yeah,
so
never make it serious either. Just keep it fun.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, so we got some exciting stuff coming up at SimFit. You can check out the website at simfit.com, SYMFIT.com. Shout out to New Body Alliance in Burnaby, where I'm doing some kickboxing classes out over there. Shout out to Gavin Van Vlack, New York City, repping them over there, and he's doing some awesome stuff in training. I'll put up his stuff in the show notes over there. If you need a personal trainer, we'll make sure we put these 2 links of Kevin and Beki up, and you can check them out as well. Not required, but just make sure you do something about it, because in the end, we're all here and we want to better ourselves. So anything left you guys want to say before we bounce on this?
I think it was
Get
great.
off your butt.
Yeah, get off your butt. Stop. Put the fucking self-help books down. It's called self-help. Help yourself, bitches. How about that? You know, like, that's all I got to say on that. But
Fucking do
yeah,
it!
exactly. All right, guys. Appreciate you. We have some awesome guests coming up next week. And once I figure out this podcasting and get all the gear and all the cameras and stuff again, I hope that Kevin and Beki will come back and we can kind of do it again with a little bit more technology behind us. So I'd love to have you guys back and do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would love to.
back.
So yeah, I appreciate everyone. I love everyone. And get your ass off the couch, and this shit's a wrap. Peace.
Peace!
Oh, laters, guys.
1 hour, 37 minutes. Holy
Nice.
shit.